Today, we are talking about the biggest mistake, in my opinion, that folks make when buying a new construction home. I'm Jessica Genung with the Genung team in Real Broker, and about half of my real estate business is helping clients go through the process of buying a new construction home. So we have seen a lot of interesting things over the years, as you can imagine. We're getting right into it today.
Interesting.
The biggest mistake I see people make when buying a new construction home is that they assume that the home will be perfect. I absolutely understand this expectation. You are buying a brand new home and things are supposed to be perfect. But a new home is not an iPhone. If you purchase a new iPhone and it's not working perfectly, you take it back to the store and you exchange it for a perfect one. But new homes are built by humans and there is a lot that goes into it, including countless subcontractors, and the quality control varies widely from builder to builder and even community to community under the same builder. Some construction superintendents are just better and more diligent than others, and vice versa. Your goal as a new construction home buyer and the role of your independent agent, if you have hired one, should be to closely monitor the process and take some additional steps to ensure your new home is as close as possible to being perfect by the time you close, and we'll talk about those additional steps now.
Well, it's better safe than sorry.
The contract. One of the first steps in the process is the contract. I recommend you taking the time to review your purchase contract details. The builder contracts are usually in the 150 to 250 page range, and they are written by the builder attorneys, and they're very builder friendly.
Volume 1.
They are the opposite of our resale California buyer contracts, which are very buyer friendly with lots of buyer protections. Builder contracts can be a little on the harsh side, and your agent should be able to explain the important differences. Closing late is a perfect example. Normally in the contracts for the builder, it's no problem. Sometimes up to a year late they can close with no penalty according to the contracts. But if you close late as the buyer, it's in the contract. I'm often seeing $350 per day per diem. And the same goes for the builder lender versus if you use an independent lender. If the builder lender is late, we're not talking about a per diem so long as you've done everything that you need to do. But if your independent lender is late, then sometimes we have a problem.
So, it's been 24 hours. Got my money? Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you. Oh, that's funny. I could have sworn I said have it today. Yeah, I don't have it, sorry.
After reviewing the contract, I like to send my clients an email where I pull out some of the important items in the contract to make sure that they don't miss them. Things like if your appraisal comes in low, is your earnest money deposit protected by an appraisal contingency? Usually you do not have an appraisal contingency when buying a new build. Are you in a high fire area, and what does that mean? Things that you need to know. The builder sales rep is not likely to walk you through the builder contract. I have seen it a few times where the builder rep will schedule a Zoom call or a meeting to go through the contract, and those are the reps that I love bringing my clients to, but they are the rare exception. Oftentimes, the builder just emails you the contract, and sometimes I see ridiculous deadlines for you to sign, like we need it signed by 5 o'clock today. Don't let them rush you. They are long contracts and they should be giving you at least 24 hours to sign. And the ones that I love are giving you about 3 days to review because it's a big decision.
Do you have a donut or not?
Coming up. Just sign here. Careful, hot pen.
Walkthroughs. Attend all the walkthroughs the builder offers. In my area, which is in inland Southern California, the builders typically offer 2 walkthroughs. The first is called an open frame walk, or sometimes they refer to it as a dusty shoe walk. This is a great opportunity for you to meet with the construction manager at your home, and this appointment usually happens right before drywall gets installed. So you get a chance to see everything that will be behind your walls. I also recommend taking pictures and video of your home in the open frame stage. It's good to know where major plumbing lines are, especially, and your AC condenser and gas lines as well. This is good to know for like if you're hanging pictures or if you ever plan to make any modifications to the home. Knowing where these systems are can save you the headache of damaging the home by accidentally hitting these lines. You'll be able to see electrical, plumbing, such as water lines, drain lines, and fire sprinklers, HVAC system and ducting, and gas gas lines. You'll also be able to see any tech wiring that you added to the home, such as alarm system wiring, any structured home network wiring, such as Cat6 data outlets, flat screen TV conduits, camera wiring, home theater system wiring, and the list goes on.
Am I missing something?
This is your chance to make sure that the options that you've purchased have been installed. For example, maybe you purchased a 220 volt electrical outlet because you have an electric dryer. Well, you need to make sure that's there before the drywall gets installed. If construction makes a mistake on the options you selected and leaves out an item, they can later make that correction, but then they are having to tear out your brand new drywall to make that modification, and you want to avoid that having to happen. The construction rep should have a list of every option you added, and you should walk through each room of the house and check on those items. Maybe you added under cabinet lighting in the kitchen. Check to make sure that you see that pre-wire. Maybe you added 3 pendant lights above the island. Check to make sure that that pre-wire is there. Maybe you added a second sink in your guest bathroom. Check to make sure that the plumbing is there. So you need 2 sets of plumbing. Maybe you added 4 can lights in your office. Make sure the pre-wire is there. Maybe you added an exterior camera to your home. Make sure that that wiring is there, and make sure that it's in the correct position too. I've seen clients, they wanted it on the second level, but the pre-wire was installed on the first level. Double check. The next walkthrough, once the home is completed, is called the new home orientation, and this walkthrough happens about a week before closing. Some folks call it the blue tape walkthrough because a lot of folks have heard about this procedure where you put the blue tape on the areas of the home that need touch-up. There are actually 3 colors of tape that are typically used depending on the issues that we're calling out, and a detailed video explaining how this walkthrough works and what to expect is on my to-do list. This walkthrough is very important and takes place at the end of the transaction when the builder is most motivated to make the needed repairs to make you happy so that they can close on the home the following week. If you miss any items from this walkthrough that don't make it on the builder punch list and your inspector misses an item, we'll talk about the inspection shortly, you still have the 1-year home warranty typically for most homes and most items, but I will tell you that you do not want to be making many home warranty service requests. Oftentimes, the service requests for new construction communities are plentiful, and you could be at the end of a very long line. Get it done before you close.
I'm waiting.
I always recommend you work with an independent agent when buying a new construction home that specializes in new construction. That specialization is key because most agents are not selling very many new construction homes, and any agent is better than no independent agent at all. But to really be able to help you, you're going to want to find a new construction specialist. If you are shopping for a home in the Southwest Riverside County, Temecula, Murrieta Valley, myself or my team would of course love to help you. If you are looking elsewhere, I have a video about how to find a great agent who specializes in new construction. I'll leave that down below in the description. Home inspection. The next step I recommend you take to ensure that your home doesn't have issues right after you move in is to get an independent home inspection. A lot of folks don't know that you can and should hire an independent home inspector on a new construction home. Keep in mind, the builder rep, I see it all the time, will often try to talk you out of it. Oftentimes, they're going to cite the various quality control and city inspections that the homes go through and the home warranty. You are spending hundreds of thousands on your new home, so I say spend the extra $500 to $600 on the independent inspection. It has happened in my business where the inspectors didn't find anything noteworthy, but that is the rare exception. Over the past couple of years, I would say that a couple homes out of dozens that I've attended for new construction home inspections didn't find anything noteworthy. Usually the inspectors are finding on average 10 to 15 items that need to be addressed, sometimes significant things too. Just last month, I had a home where the drywallers buried the electrical connection to the upstairs thermostat. So there was no upstairs thermostat and the electrical had been totally buried, so that had to be unburied so that they could have an upstairs thermostat. Also, just last month, I had where the gas pipe was capped in the attic where it was supposed to be connected to the heater unit. So come winter, they'd have gone to turn on the heater and it would not have been operational. I've actually had this happen a lot of times where the HVAC ducts are not connected to the registers in the ceiling. They're like floating in the attic, which is something you may or may not notice in some of your smaller bedrooms, that those aren't connected. My most kind of horror story of a client that did not choose to get the inspection ended up with a water leak in the first week that he moved into the home. One drywall nail had hit one of the PEX piping. It's like the plastic piping that new construction uses for water, and it had caused a leak in his ceiling, in the drywall of his living room, and it got down into the floor. So the first week that they moved in, like, they had to tarp off the kitchen, all the flooring had to be redone. The builder, of course, took care of it, but it took like a month. So I wish they would have had the inspection so that there was the potential to find that issue before they moved in. Just get the home inspection is the moral of the story. Lenders. Let's talk briefly about new construction lenders. I see it way more than I would like to, where the builder lender is not great. Maybe their workload is quite high for a variety of reasons, but we have a much better chance of having some customer service issues like a slow response time and poor communication with the builder lender than we do my typical preferred lenders. Nevertheless, about 90% of my clients do use the builder lender because the builder provides good incentives to do so, including large closing cost credits. So usually it's worth it to stick with the builder lender, but you will have a much less frustrating experience if you go in with the expectation that you might need some additional patience, and it certainly helps to stay on top of them as well if you need anything, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, as they say. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Siéntense is sit down in Espanol. Because remember, I took Spanish in high school, not French. Just kidding. I took French. That's how you like me to do it.
We'll do it live. Okay.